Tonight on NewsLink Indiana, students react to GOP changes in healthcare. Find out what effects the new bill could have.
And cuts will be made under President Trump's 2018 budget proposal. We'll tell you what students could be losing their scholarships.
And is there a big warm-up ahead? I'll let you guys know in my full forecast. NewsLink Indiana starts now.
Live from the Ball State News Center, this is NewsLink Indiana in high definition.
Good evening and welcome to NewsLink Indiana. I'm Bree Isom.
And I'm Tanner Holbrook. Thanks for joining us.
Planned Parenthood historically has been a controversial nonprofit organization. NewsLink Indiana's Max Lewis explores how one Ball State group is working to defund it.
Tonight, Planned Parenthood is bracing for a fight. The recently announced GOP replacement for Obamacare includes a provision that would completely defund Planned Parenthood of all federal tax dollars. The move has pro-life advocates fearful, but social conservatives cheering.
All taxpayers should be considering right now is whether or not their federal tax dollars should be going to Planned Parenthood or to federally qualified health centers.
Planned Parenthood currently receives around 40% of its operating budget from the federal government, none of which can be used to fund abortions. Today, the Ball State Students for Life tried to educate students on federally qualified health centers, which they say are an abortion-free substitute for Planned Parenthood.
Federally qualified health centers serve larger communities, and they have 22.8 million patients that they serve, when Planned Parenthood only serves 2.7 million patients.
When testifying on Capitol Hill, Planned Parenthood President Cecile Richards said that Planned Parenthood is essential to providing health care to lower-income women.
Impossible for our patients to understand why Congress is once again threatening their ability to go to the health care provider of their choice.
The House is expected to vote on the new health care plan on Thursday. In Muncie, Max Lewis, NewsLink, Indiana.
Ball State Students for Life meets every Monday at 6 p.m. in Bracken Library.
Well, an Indianapolis woman is facing charges after delivering a stillborn baby at home and then hiding the body. 23-year-old Faiza Al-Khatib arrived at Little & Son's funeral home on February 4th with the frozen body of a stillborn in a cooler. Management at the funeral home contacted the Indianapolis Police Department, prompting an investigation. And during a search of Al-Khatib's cell phone, police found a photo of the child that was taken on January 24th, which is a week earlier than the date of the birth she gave investigators. Al-Khatib's trial is scheduled for July 19th.
Today, President Donald Trump went to Capitol Hill to sell the Republican replacement plan for Obamacare. But it appears many lawmakers on both sides of the aisle still aren't ready to buy. Kristen Holmes has the breakdown from Capitol Hill.
President Trump taking on the role of closer-in-chief.
Thursday is our chance to end Obamacare.
Selling one of the biggest deals of his presidency, his proposed health care bill, not only to voters, but to reluctant Republicans. The GOP leadership revealing last-minute tweaks overnight, hoping to appease both conservative and moderate lawmakers and rally the required 216 votes necessary for the bill to pass.
And I would simply say that a lot of the members' concerns have been incorporated in this process.
How are you going to get the vote?
President Trump taking his pitch to Capitol Hill, meeting with Republicans 2 days before the vote.
We had a great meeting, and I think we're going to get a winner vote.
The president reportedly ramping up pressure behind closed doors, singling out some lawmakers who oppose the bill and telling Republicans they could lose seats if they didn't vote in favor of it.
The president of the United States came to us and said, we all made a promise to the American people, and we need to keep our promises.
Some conservatives, though, still not sold.
There still are not enough votes to pass this particular bill.
The presidential push coming on day 2 of the confirmation hearings for Trump's Supreme Court pick. Judge Neil Gorsuch facing a long day of tough questions from senators on topics like abortion, torture, and the president's travel ban.
I will apply the law. I will apply the law faithfully and fearlessly.
On Capitol Hill, I'm Kristen Holmes.
The vote will take place this Thursday.
Today, Judge Neil Gorsuch faced questions from members of the Senate Judiciary Committee. Questions were coming from both sides of the political spectrum as senators had 30 minutes to ask him their questions. And during the questioning, senators tried to pin down Gorsuch's political views, and he responded saying there is a need for him to stay objective. One of the first questions Judge Gorsuch was asked was whether he would have any trouble ruling against Trump. He answered that he would have no problem ruling against the president, calling the question a, quote, softball question. The rest of the questions ranged from gun rights to abortion.
Had you ever met President Trump personally?
Not until my interview.
In that interview, did he ever ask you to overrule Roe v. Wade?
No, Senator.
What would he have done if he'd asked?
Senator, I would have walked out the door.
According to the Washington Post, a second round of questions is expected to start tomorrow, and senators will have an additional 20 minutes to quiz Gorsuch.
After about a month, the City of Muncie has announced its interim building commissioner. Rick Lorison has worked for the City of Muncie since January of last year. He worked at the city's street department after a career with the county government. The city made an announcement about Lorison on social media this morning saying, quote, Rick has extensive supervisory experience. Lorison takes over as Craig Nichols is on unpaid leave after a February indictment on 33 counts of wire fraud, money laundering, and theft of government funds.
You know, Bree, walking into the studio, kind of drizzly today. Wasn't about that too much.
I really like the warm temperatures today, though. I'm wondering if those are going to stay.
Yeah.
Luke, what can you tell us?
I can tell you guys that the warm temperatures will come back later this weekend. But right now, currently, we're sitting at 43 degrees here in Muncie with a north wind at 12 miles per hour, making it feel like it's 37 degrees outside. So if you don't already, I would highly recommend having a jacket or a very light coat on. And with a dew point at 29 degrees, so there still might be a few pesky sprinkles lingering in our area. But coming up in my full forecast, sunshine returns along with rain chances increasing later this week, and a big warm up is on the way. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Luke. Coming up, find out how Ball State Teachers College is expanding their curriculum and enrollment.
And we'll tell you how your morning commute could be affected within the next couple of weeks. All this and more after the break.
Oh! Checking your fantasy league?
Nah, just my 401k statement.
Nice. Where'd you find the money for that?
I just been saving a little every month.
I can't seem to save anything.
Well, what about all this? What about the money you're spending?
What money? It's gone before I can get my hands on it.
I got a pizza for a Todd.
Hey, can somebody spot me?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
It's 547.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
So I've come up with a family emergency plan.
Great. What is it?
It's difficult to talk about, so I'm not telling you.
How will we know what to do?
You won't.
I'm so glad I won't have to remember anything.
And me too. Thanks for this, sweetie.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Welcome back. The Ball State Teachers College is seeing record-setting enrollment numbers for one of its programs. According to the Star Press, 6 years ago, the Teachers College began offering an online-only master's degree in applied behavioral analysis with an emphasis in autism. Now the program makes up for more than a third of the total enrollment of the college. Last fall, over 1,500 students enrolled in the program, and this semester the number climbed to over 1,600. In February, the Teachers College received approval to begin offering the same degree as an undergraduate major. The program will be the only one of its kind in the state.
Well, now to some news that could be affecting some students here. Budget cuts in education could leave some low-income students without financial support. NewsLink Indiana's Alex Kilmer has the story.
On Thursday, President Donald Trump released his budget proposal for 2018, and college students who depend on federal aid could lose some assistance. The proposal cuts $3.9 billion from financial support for low-income undergraduate students through the Pell Grant program. Many recipients of the grant attend Ball State and fear it could have an impact on the availability of education.
Yeah, it makes me extremely nervous that in the proposed budget cuts that education and specifically Pell Grants are going to be cut. As a grant student, next year I won't know where I'm going to get the funds to be able to be a student here.
We don't want our students to have like $40,000, $50,000 in debt when they graduate from a four-year university, because unfortunately that would help keep the cycle of poverty happening, and we do not want that for society.
Students do not only fear for themselves, but for the future of the university.
It does make me nervous that we aren't going to have as high enrollment rates, not just at Ball State, but at larger public universities as a whole.
It makes me nervous to see what classrooms are going to look like, what professional staff and faculty are going to look like, who will keep their jobs, who won't. Because in the long run, the university is not taking in as much money.
Now, low-income undergraduate students can only hope they get the assistance they need.
I just think if you take this money out of education and out of grants for students, education may never be the same.
In Muncie, Alex Kilmer, NewsLink, Indiana.
President Trump's 2018 budget proposal also cuts funding for the Environmental Protection Agency and State Department, as well as adding funding to national security.
2 Muncie teens are in custody tonight following a late November home invasion. 2 19-year-olds Vincent Coleman Jr. and Dominic LaFleur have been charged with criminal confinement and 2 counts of armed robbery. According to the Star Press, in late November, Coleman and LaFleur, along with a third person, entered a Newcastle home and held 5 people at gunpoint for 10 minutes. They made off with an iPhone, a gold necklace, and a jacket, and some cash. The third person, Mark Bryant, was arrested in November and faces the same charges.
Sticking with crime news, a Newcastle woman has been sentenced for a September stabbing. 29-year-old Kathy L. Richards of Newcastle pleaded guilty to aggravated battery, and according to the Star Press, Richards stabbed her ex-boyfriend's girlfriend in the left arm outside a Grand Avenue convenience store. Henry Circuit Court 1 Judge Bob Witham imposed a 7-year sentence, and Richards will spend 2 years on home detention, 3 years on formal probation, and 2 years on informal probation. The judge also ordered Richards to continue to participate in counseling.
A popular road in Muncie will be closing soon. The contractor for Delaware County announced that Tillotson Bridge over White River and the Cardinal Greenway is scheduled to close for construction on Monday, March 27th. Officials have noted the bridge's importance to traffic flow in Muncie, so there will be a detour posted by Nichols Avenue. The project will cost the city $2.2 million to resurface the bridge. The county commissioners saved about $500,000 for the bridge project in 2016.
And kind of a rainy day, but we've got a weekend warm-up coming. Luke, what can you tell us?
I can tell you that rain won't stick along for the next couple of days, but I will let you guys know here for my full forecast right after the break.
Can you help me with this? My new dad teaches me all kinds of stuff.
Sure.
He helps me with homework.
That would be 3.6795.
Thanks.
Yep.
He helps me with my decision making.
I wouldn't use this one. Ever.
And he's even teaching me how to drive.
And that's why cars have bumpers.
I'm learning so much.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
They're coming. Places, everybody.
Light check. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Everything looks good on our end.
And lights.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
Of all the things you've done with your bike, donating it to Goodwill may be the most incredible of all. Your donations help fund job placement and training for people in your community, which means your stuff can be more powerful than you think. Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
So Tanner, it was a little bit rainy today. I'm wondering if that's going to affect the temperature.
You know, I'm really looking forward to that weekend warm-up. Hopefully there is one. Luke, what can you tell us?
I can tell you that weekend warm-up will be a very different temperatures than what we're experiencing now. But today, though, we reached a high of 57 degrees. Average for this time of year is 50 degrees, so we're well above average for this time of year. And we're going to reach a low of 23 degrees tonight. Average low for this time of year is 31 degrees. So we're very above and under our average, which is very much like spring weather in Indiana. But as we check out this national map, just briefly, you can see there's this deep temperature contrast, and that is the placement of this cold front. This will move into our area for the next 24 to 36 hours, making tomorrow going to be very cold. But looking at your current temperatures right now, though, 42 in Indianapolis, 33 in Lafayette, 33 in Kokomo, 43 in Shelbyville, 50 in Bloomington. So all across the board in temperatures in Indiana right now. But as we look for tonight, though, right now, we're going to be at 43 degrees. There's a north wind coming at 12 miles per hour, making it feel like 37 degrees out. So it is kind of chilly out there. But as we look in tonight, though, our low, we're going to be at 23 degrees. It's going to be mostly clear with a strong northeast wind between 10 and 14 miles per hour. So it's going to be below freezing, so you might have to scrape your cars off tomorrow morning for your early commute. Looking at precision cast for the first time, not a lot going on. Clouds slowly starting to make their way into Wednesday night, Thursday morning, making clear and sunny skies for tomorrow. As we check out our bus stop forecast, though, at 7 a.m. it's going to be 23 degrees. It's going to be breezy and cold. The wind chill is going to be 11 degrees. So make sure you do have a coat when you're walking to your 8 a.m. classes or if you're dropping your kids off at school. And if you look at 3 p.m., it's going to be 38 degrees. Looking at tomorrow, we're going to reach a high of 40 degrees and sunny. And picking up precision cast for a second time, clouds will move into our way Thursday evening, Thursday night, making us have some rain chances coming up later this weekend. But as we check out our 7-day forecast, though, 50 degrees on Thursday, 67 degrees on Friday. It would be a great day to go outside, and 68 on Saturday, 62 on Sunday. But rain chances will be in the forecast for the weekend.
Yeah, Saturday, Sunday, not looking too good. However, Friday, that's the day. That's going to be a good day.
67 degrees. That sounds great to me right now. All right, so what's up in sports, Ben?
Well, it's going to be cold tomorrow, but there's still baseball to be played. Ball State has a game against in-state rival Purdue tomorrow. And also, spring football just had their third practice, and they will have their spring game next month. We'll be previewing that coming up.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. Those we use all the time with hardly a thought. Those that are silently standing by to save our lives. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere we go. Many mobile devices will now bring you wireless emergency alerts, real-time information directly from local sources you know and trust. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know wherever you are.
Cook foods to the right temperature using a food thermometer. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
So, I got this new family, and I don't know what it is about this one, but she can't seem to put down that toy all day long. Tap, 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 tap. Oh, and she even talks to it. She talks to that more than she talks to him. What's up, bro? Nice shirt. Who's she talking to? Her mom? She talks to her mom a lot.
You wanted to be a teacher when you were little, but things changed. Teaching didn't seem that cool anymore, so you decided to become something else. But what would your 12-year-old self say? Amazing things are happening in teaching, so it's time to put it back on your list. Don't try to convince yourself otherwise. You had it right the first time.
Good evening. Last year, Ball State football finished its season with a losing record of 1-7 in the MAC. With spring practices starting for the team, they're focusing on fixing the mistakes they made last season with a goal of MAC championship this fall. Amanda Smith has the story.
Last spring was the first time that players were introduced to Mike New's coaching style. Offensive lineman Vinny Palizzetti says that it's apparent from last year to now, the team's just a lot more comfortable.
There's more of just like us knowing what to do when we're out there without the coaches having to hold our hands the whole time. Like, we can make calls that in last spring the coaches would have to come and say, oh, you can do this in the offense, or this is allowed to do. Now, when the first string's out there, we make the calls. We don't have to, look behind and make sure we're doing everything right.
As for what they saw on film they're using this spring to correct?
Well, we had a big emphasis on ball security and big plays. Those were one of our main emphasis coming into spring that we really wanted to nail down to achieve our goals and win a MAC championship.
Right now, we had our safeties more focused in the run gap, so our Sam, like slash nickelbacker, would be focused on the pass, and so they would gash us in the gaps. And this year, with our new nickel, he's just covering receivers mostly, and we got a guy to account for the box to make up for what we didn't have last year.
What they also didn't have last year with new coaches and play calls, an easy transition. But Palizzetti says he thinks the team's finally got it figured out.
Way smoother, yeah. It's nice to come out to practice because you're not so worried about everything you have to do. It's kind of just muscle memory at this point, and you get the call and you know kind of every little variation that could happen, and you're not surprised by anything.
Everybody wants one thing, and that's to get to Detroit, win the MAC championship this year, and coaching these young guys along, bringing them along with us, with the older guys, and making sure they follow what the coaches are telling them, so get this whole thing rolling.
Today is the third of 15 scheduled practices Ball State has leading up to the spring game, April 15th. In Muncie, Amanda Smith, NewsLink, Indiana.
Final tune-up game tomorrow before MAC play when they host Purdue. The Boilermakers come into tomorrow's game winners of their last 5. Meanwhile, Ball State is coming off winning 3 of 4 in a series with Dayton over the weekend. The Cardinals look to continue the momentum from last weekend to this weekend's series against MAC favorite Kent State. However, Ball State is still focused on taking down their in-state rival.
Whenever you're playing an in-state rival like Purdue, you kind of put game plans aside and you just kind of go out and you know what you do best. So just like every other time we play an in-state rival, you got a little chip on your shoulder because maybe you weren't recruited by the Purdues or the IUs like that. So you want to go in there and you want to show what you're made of, and you want to show your best.
And working as hard as I can, and every day at the park, just having fun. You never know when your last game's going to be. So I'm just out there having fun and trying to bring a championship back to Muncie.
Finally, Ball State will break ground for the new Earl Yestingsmeyer Golf Center Thursday. The new indoor complex will host men's and women's golf. We'll have hitting bays, chipping and putting greens, as well as a hitting simulator and locker rooms.
Wow, so I heard it's kind of by Schumann Stadium?
Yeah, by Schumann Stadium,
right
correct.
There on Bethel Avenue.
Oh.
Yeah, very exciting for the golf team there. Looking forward to that season there.
Oh, for sure. And good timing. Masters coming up this in a couple weeks, too.
All right. Well, Ben, thank you. Find out when we return what comedian is returning to TV.
And why a celebrity is being asked to apologize. Coming up next.
Hey, did you know 2.4 million loving cats and dogs in shelters and rescues need our help to find a home? Let's go to theshelterpetproject.org and meet if you are in a shelter near you. Harlow, oh, she's one great listener who loves to hear all your stories. My kind of cat. Cerulo is a sweet, goofy boy who's eager to please. Sounds just like another dog I know. So go to theshelterpetproject.org, search your local shelters and rescues, and go for a cuddle with your next best friend. Adopt.
Sure, I look cute now, but when my owner lost his job, it was rough. I was living on the street, and one night, me and this Cocker Spaniel got into it so bad, I wound up looking like an ice cream cone. I cried a little bit, but thankfully I got rescued, so I'm running, I'm jumping, all back to my old self. And I'm ready to give unconditional love, even if you put a lampshade on my head.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it. It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Welcome back to NewsLink Indiana. I'm Chris Schutte with your entertainment news. It's been over 10 years since Dave Chappelle ended his hit TV series, Chappelle's Show. The comedian is making a return to television, according to CNN. Over the years, Chappelle has received numerous fan letters for him to get back on the big screen. Today, 2 stand-up specials performed by the comedian are being released on Netflix, all part of a 3-show deal between the comedian and the streaming giant. In more celebrity news, the Anne Frank Center for Mutual Respect is demanding an apology for actor Tim Allen after comments made on Jimmy Kimmel's Live last week. Take a look.
I'm not kidding. You got to be real careful around here. You know, you get beat up if you don't believe what everybody believes. This is like 30s Germany. I don't know what happened.
The Anne Frank Center's mission is to call out prejudice and discrimination. Stephen Goldstein, the executive director for the Anne Frank Center, called on Allen to apologize to the Jewish community and all others affected by the Nazis. This Thursday, March 23rd, John Anderson will be speaking at Ball State University. John Anderson is the David Letterman Distinguished Professional Lecture and Workshop Series speaker. He is a sports journalist from Green Bay, Wisconsin. Anderson also is a host on the ESPN TV program Sports Center. His talk will be called Good Games, Great Stories, and Do I Need to Wear Pants? It's free and open to the public. The workshop will be from 7:30 to 9 Thursday night in Emmons Auditorium. For more information, visit the Ball State website under events.
All right, thanks, Chris. Let's take a final look at weather, Luke.
Final look at weather for tonight. It's going to be a low of 23 degrees, mostly clear out. Rather windy, though, between 10 and 14 miles per hour. It's going to be below freezing, so like I mentioned earlier, you might have to scrape off your cars in the morning for your early commute. And then as we check out our 7-day forecast, Friday is going to be 67 degrees, 68 on Saturday, 62 on Sunday, but rain chances are likely with a thunderstorm or 2 that are possible in our area.
Wow, yeah, I'm really looking forward, like I said earlier, that Friday. 67 degrees, how nice.
It is going to be a great day outside.
Yeah.
68 is kind of a tease because it says, oh, rain though. And it says 70% chance of rain. Doesn't sound too good.
All right, well, thanks, Luke. Well, that's all tonight for NewsLink Indiana. Be sure to watch tomorrow night at 9 right here on Cardinal Vision or on BallStateDaily.com.
And be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Have a good night.